So this is an action to test our house rules based of Black Seas from Warlord games, with ships under the rate only. We decided on a battle of 700 points. The quick reference sheets that have been posted by modeler Phil on the Warlord Games Black Seas official on Facebook have been modified to include our changes to the rules. This is not the complete list of changes. We have also included and modified ships and ship types on our ship list using the battlescribe app and desktop application. We basically just wanted to see how a larger battle with 700 points with only ships under the rate would play out using these rules. We also agreed on a maximum of 3 veteran ships, including any famous ship we might use. We have set this fictional battle at the Canary Islands, with a group of British raiders encountering a quickly called up Spanish and French defense. This also gave us a chance to try a coastline along an entire long side of the board. But also lots of small and large islands and rocks. Using a hyperlapse on my phone was a bad idea as the whole video became very stuttery. I have tried to correct this in editing, but was not completely successful. I hope the footage is still watchable. The British fleet ended up consisting of 9 ships. A veteran corvette, a veteran large gun brig, 2 brigs, 2 schooners, a lugger, a large navy cutter and HMS Speedy, a famous small brig. The Franco-Spanish fleet consisted of a large veteran gun brig, a large veteran brig, 2 small brigs, 2 large navy cutters, 2 small xebec and a large veteran xebec. With so many fore and aft rigged ships, we were set for an interesting battle. Additionally, the xebecs, the lugger and the cutters were all shallow drafted. The wind was rolled randomly after setup and turned out blowing from the northeast to the southwest. The weather was calm. The first turn was spent maneuvering and getting into position for all ships of both fleets. The British had the weather gauge, but this was somewhat offset by the xebec's ability to row upwind under oars. We missed filming the first moves in round 2. But the action was commenced by a British schooner opening up on a Spanish cutter. She was then fired upon by the same cutter and set aflame after receiving fire from the large xebec. On the west side of the board, the British brigs and cutter sailing in formation opened up on the Spanish brigs. They then retaliated by firing on the lugger. However, the front Spanish brig was then raked by a British large brig and was forced to strike its colours. At the end of the turn, the now flaming wreck of the British schooner drifts onto the large Spanish xebec, and they, being unable to stave it off, are also set aflame. For turn 3, the wind changes direction and is now blowing from east to west. After the first few ships maneuver to get in position, and the British Navy cutter gets on the large xebec stern for a rake. The large xebec's powder magazine is reached by the flames, and it blows up spectacularly. The British Navy cutter is caught in the explosion and is also wrecked. There are few exchanges on the west side of the map, but no more ships strike or are sunk. On turn 4, the British corvette and brig on the far east side of the map finally catches up to the two small Spanish brigs. A British brig is forced to strike its colours after taking close range fire from a cutter to its stern. Turn 5 sees the Spanish small brigs engaged and under fire by the British corvette and brig on the east side of the map. Damage is starting to tell. But they both manage to pass their tests to strike the colors and are still not horsed to combat. On the west side of the map, a British schooner manages to cripple one of the remaining Spanish xebecs. Turn 6 and 7 sees no further British losses, but both the small Spanish brigs are finally forced to strike their flags. The battle took us roughly 6 hours. This was largely due to the number of ships in the battle and agreeing on how the battle should be played during setup. Using only small ships and with our additional rules that make critical hits less likely for longer range shots, but also for smaller caliber guns, made this a very fun battle. It was also a lot of fun to get all those unrated ship models out on the board, as normally they see quite limited use for us. Please check out our other videos. We have more battle reports, videos about building the model ships in this scale, short ship info clips and others. Don't forget to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you would like more content like this.